Ancient wisdom might be more relevant than ever. I just discovered a 3,000-year-old story that perfectly explains every major corporate scandal from Enron to Theranos.
Oh, wow. That's quite a claim. What's the connection?
Well, it's this fascinating Panchatantra tale about an elderly crane who, instead of working harder or adapting, creates this elaborate scheme to trick fish by spreading fear about their pond drying up. The crane offers to save them by carrying them to a supposedly safer pond.
Hmm, let me guess. There wasn't actually any crisis at all?
Exactly. The crane would carry each fish away, eat them, and carelessly drop their bones near a rock. You know what's wild? This mirrors almost perfectly how Elizabeth Holmes operated Theranos, creating false urgency, exploiting trust, promising salvation that didn't exist.
That's such an interesting parallel. And like Theranos, I'm guessing someone eventually noticed all those metaphorical bones piling up?
Right. In the story, it's this observant heron who spots the evidence and exposes everything, just like how John Carreyrou at the Wall Street Journal uncovered the Theranos fraud. Studies show that about 85% of corporate fraud is actually discovered through whistleblowers or accidental discoveries.
Well, that's fascinating. So even today, we're still relying on that same pattern of vigilant observers to catch deception?
Absolutely right. And here's what's really interesting. The story acknowledges that the crane had a legitimate problem, just like many companies face real challenges. But it shows how desperation can lead to unethical shortcuts instead of sustainable solutions.
You know what this reminds me of? Those studies showing how financial pressure actually changes decision making in the brain. Like how executives under pressure to hit quarterly targets are 45% more likely to make ethical compromises.
Wow, that's exactly what this story is warning about. And you know what's fascinating? The way the crane scheme worked perfectly until it got careless. Just like Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme operated for decades until he got sloppy with the details.
So, what's the modern application here? How do we build better systems to prevent these kinds of deceptions?
Well, research shows that companies with strong independent oversight are 63% less likely to experience major fraud. It's about creating those heron like systems that can spot patterns of deception before they become catastrophic, like um, having truly independent board members and robust whistleblower protections.
Hmm? And I imagine transparency plays a huge role too.
Exactly. And here's something that would have blown the ancient storyteller's mind. Artificial intelligence is now being used to detect patterns of fraudulent behavior that humans might miss. It's like having thousands of digital herons watching for those metaphorical piles of bones.
That's making me think about how technology might be changing these age old patterns of deception and discovery.
You know what's really striking? Despite all our technological advances, the basic human psychology hasn't changed. The same fears and motivations that drove that crane's behavior are still driving corporate misconduct today. Studies show that about 70% of major corporate frauds still involve creating false urgency or exploiting fear.
So maybe that's why these ancient stories still resonate. They're tapping into something fundamental about human nature.
Precisely. And here's the kicker. Research shows that companies that prioritize ethical decision making over short term gains actually outperform their peers by an average of 12% over 5 years. Just like the story suggests, sustainable solutions beat shortcuts every time.
That's really profound. These aren't just moral lessons, they're practical guides for success.
And in today's complex business environment, maybe we need these simple, profound truths more than ever. Like the story shows, it's not enough to just have rules. We need systems that encourage ethical behavior and protect against exploitation.
Well, I'll definitely be thinking about this crane story the next time someone tries to rush me into a decision with promises that seem too good to be true.
That's exactly the point. Whether it's 3,000 years ago or today, the best defense against deception is still that combination of critical thinking and systematic oversight. The technology and context may change, but the fundamental principles remain surprisingly constant.